Dukey.
Yes?
You've had some lovely boys staying with you, haven't you?
I certainly have. Nice American boys.
Dukey.
Yes.
I even remember all their names. That Ethan,
Ethan's lovely.
I could eat him with a spoon, Dukey.
Well, if you were 70 years younger.
If I was 7, how old is he? He's young enough to be my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson, isn't he?
He's decidedly great.
Dukey, I could eat him with a spoon. I could eat him with a spoon. He is so lovely.
Cannibalism would be tolerated.
Oh, no, it's just gorgeous, isn't he? And the tall one. Well, there's 2 tall ones, but the one with the voice.
3 tall ones when you think about it, but the ones that we had in the house.
Yes, that is very true. One of them with the voice.
Noah.
Noah. Oh, Noah.
You like to go on his ark.
Oh, Noah, I could go on his ark all day long. The voice. Oh, that voice, it does things to me, Dukey. It vibrates all around me special places.
That's stentorian sexiness.
Oh, I don't know what that word means, but and the thingy Michael.
New Michael.
Oh, and he lovely.
A lovely lad.
He's so funny. He's so chitty-chatty. I like him chitty-chatty, don't I, Dukey?
You
like
certainly
you.
do.
You're nice and chitty-chatty, ain't you? And you're funny.
And he's rocking a tash.
And rocking the moustache. Oh, it's just, they're all so funny. And then there's the other one.
Jack, who sadly we didn't have here. But, yes.
Yeah, but we saw him at the gig, didn't we?
We certainly did,
And,
yes.
firm handshake. He had a very firm handshake. And the curls. And a lovely face. With a little upturned nose. It's just so gorgeous. And it's just so funny. They're all so funny, Dukey.
But quite a beautiful quartet of
Dukey.
American lads.
Oh, Dukey. Did they need a great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother to take care of him? Because I would. I'd move there. I'd look after him. I would.
You could become their British great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparent.
There's all these comedians under one roof. Aspies are us, Aspies are us, Aspies are us!
It's the Dukey Radio Show. Hello, 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 hello. With me in the studio, Sylvia Silversmith.
Hello.
And Marsha MacDonald.
Yeah, peeps, what up?
Ooh, that sounds a little bit pensive, Marsha. Are you okay?
I haven't had my coffee yet.
Why are we recording this when you
don't
have
know.
not had your coffee yet? It seems bordering on the cruel.
It seems bordering on the insane.
I think the Geneva Convention has certain rules and regulations pertaining to podcast recording and caffeine.
Yeah, and I got coffee problems lately, Dukey.
What's happened?
Got coffee problems. Well, I go to the corporate places as regular listeners will know, right?
There are others.
And I do try to go non-corporate. But lately I have, people have been posting on social media, there are other ways to communicate, that one of the places I go to doesn't pay its taxes, or it does only to the point where it's, legal, but not ethical, right? Which is just crap. And another place that I go to, I don't know, I think they threw out 2 homeless people this week in like a really rough way. And I'm just like,
there are other ways to remove homeless people from your corporate establishment.
are they trying to drive me into the arms of the independents? But then, like a new independent opened up near us, that I really, I like their coffee a lot and I like their service. But you can't sit in there. You know what you get is in on there? You get like a wooden stake. That's what you get.
It's quite a trendy place. We're only a step away from having beanbags in that place.
Yeah, well, I would prefer a beanbag because that way I can get my big fat ass kind of, I can nestle my fat ass into a beanbag. But a wooden stake, I'm not sitting there reading a book, right? When I'm on a wooden stake, it's like, because they don't want you to stay there. They want you to leave.
I hear you, Marcia. Sylvia,
it's a problem.
Sylvia, how are you with caffeine and your morning activities?
Dukey, I am absolutely peachy keen.
So you don't need caffeine to get started?
No, I've had a banana.
Right.
Yes.
Potassium is the new caffeine.
I'm really into bananas lately. Not only do they have potassium, but they also have B6, which is good for moods.
Well, Exhibit A.
See how perky I am this morning because I've had my B6.
Exhibit A, Sylvia Smith. Exhibit B, Marcia MacDonald.
Are you getting the dichotomy?
Oh,
here,
there's
Dukey?
a dichotomy.
Yes. Dukey, you've had some guests. You've had a lot of people in the house.
We've had a lot of people in the house. Wonderful people, all the same.
Wonderful people coming and going.
At one stage, we had 3/4 of the American comedy troupe Asperger's Are Us. Today's guests.
Yes, and they say Asperger's.
They do indeed. However, new Michael, who's probably the most Anglophilic, is that a word? It is now. He's resorted to the British pronunciation while they've been on this side of the pond. I like this.
He's possibly the biggest Anglophile I've met in all of my years of living here. Like he just you can use the lingo with him, and he doesn't even bat an eyelid.
I like it.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Although for reasons which are mysterious, he has decided to use the Australian slang for women, Sheilas, to describe women everywhere. I like it though.
There was a lot of Sheilas, and because he does it so tongue in cheek and with that nice little sparkle in his eye, I didn't give him the feminist speech about the word Sheilas. Because he was doing it very funny. Noah's voice.
My word, he should go into the broadcast world in North America.
He's got a wonderful voice, but he sadly wasn't one of the ones that you interviewed. You interviewed 2 of them. Am I correct? New
Michael and Ethan.
I don't even know how these. I've been away a lot. I know you had people around, and it was good to go see their show with you guys last Sunday. But I'm still not entirely sure how they even came to be staying at your house.
Oh, it's an exciting tale of Netflix and social media.
Really?
And adhering to the needs and the wants of creative people.
Yeah, none of that really makes any sense to me. What? Oh, you saw their documentary on Netflix.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I haven't seen that yet.
It was
very good.
We really liked them and thought they were a really funny bunch.
Yes.
And
they're very funny.
Immediately directed ourselves to their Facebook page and have been following the trials and tribulations since the documentary came out. And a couple of months ago, they asked for places to lay their weary heads while in the UK. And
right.
I put up my hand, I put up Molly's paw.
Oh, right. Because they were doing lots of couch surfing, weren't they?
That's right, yeah.
That must be really stressful.
I've done a bit of it myself, and yes, it is.
I couldn't do that, Dukey. I couldn't do that. Because I would just be, I don't know. I just couldn't do it. I'm with Sylv on this one. I mean, I would just be like, where do you, can I get some coffee? And that's... Well, my whole world revolves around that kind of crap. And it's just, you don't know what you're going to get with people.
True.
I mean, you're a nice guy.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, a lot of the time. And, I'm sure you're kind of nice to stay with, right? I'm sure you're very accommodating.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. And I'm thinking, there's probably some people out there kind of, maybe kind of weird.
I suppose in a world in which inevitably and invariably you are going to come across the masses of arses, it is a bit of a Russian roulette in terms of what the hosts are going to be like. However, for yourself, Marsha, if you were to be doing couch surfing in France or Italy, 2 countries in which coffee is like a religion, you'd be well catered for.
Yeah, I can go out and get my coffee. You know, I'm like Seinfeld. I get my coffee on the outside.
Right.
Okay? But I'm just thinking, you know, you might wake up, right? And you might have somebody's lizard sitting on your face. You know, you might have some kind...
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah, it really did. I didn't mean it like... You know, not that you know, you might just have people who have proclivities that might take some getting used to. I would love to stay with somebody who had like an iguana or like one of those Komodo dragon thingies, because I really do like a lizard. I like an iguana. I think they're really cute.
A night on the reptiles.
Yes, I would love reptiles. I once stayed with some people and they had a tarantula. They were like these really badass people. Like they were like proper badass wealth people, like Hell's Angels wealth people. And don't ask me how I knew them.
Welsh Hells Angels.
Yes, they were like properly badass people. And I ended up staying with them for a night because I was in Wales. And they were really, really sweet. Really, really, really nice people, even though you wouldn't have thought so. Anyway, one of them had a tarantula called Lucy.
Oh, right. And Lucy the tarantula.
And she was in a tank. And it was really, really, really... Lucy, bless her dear little spider heart. She was disgusting. She was really revolting.
As far as tarantulas go, a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, and can I just... Well, no, I think she was a 10 out of 10 because I think she was lovely, but she was disgusting. And falling asleep in that house was actually really, really, really frightening because, you know, obviously, if you're not into tarantulas, all you can think of what happens if she gets out of her tank. Anyway, the next year, I went back. I happened to see these people again, and I said, what happened to Lucy? And this really badass, hard-ass, leather-clad biker got tears in his eyes.
Oh, no.
Because Lucy had passed.
Oh,
because
dear.
That season, when it was sloughing season, which is a really good phrase for me, sloughing season, she failed to slough properly. They have to slough.
Right.
But they have to slough completely.
Is this where they shed themselves?
Yes. Oh, God, I'm going to be sick.
Right.
But yeah, it makes me sick. But yeah, she didn't slough properly, and this poor man lost his Lucy, and he got all kind of teary.
Oh, no.
And then I got kind of teary with him, thinking she was disgusting. But I'm very sorry that Lucy is gone.
I'm sorry for the loss of your disgusting arachnid.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't think they're actually arachnids.
Oh.
I think there's another word for tarantulas. I don't know. Maybe listeners can email in and say. But I did because I was going to say arachnids, and I thought, no, wait a minute. I don't actually think they are. I don't think tarantulas are arachnids. But then they might be, and I don't know.
The film starring the excellent Julian Sands.
Yes.
Arachnophobia.
Yeah, but when have you ever had a movie worry about accuracy? I mean, come
True.
on. You know, you've had, like, didn't Brad Pitt play like a Mongolian warrior? I mean, come on.
Fantastic actor.
It's all about the
a wonderful
adapting.
warrior.
So what I'm saying is, you know, you could like Marcia saying, you could end up in somebody's house who's just a little bit off kilter, and it might be off kilter in a good way. It's just another something that you have to deal with that you won't have to deal with in a travel lodge. There are other hotels.
I may have described this story on a previous Dukey radio show, but I've been involved with offending people the other way, where I've been the bad guest.
Dukey, I can't possibly imagine what you would do. Because weren't you just did an Airbnb for the first time.
Correct.
And you said that they said because they have to evaluate you as well, right?
Yes.
And you said that they said that you were clean and tidy.
Clean and tidy. I got away with it.
I find that very difficult to believe.
Oh.
I mean, Dukey, no offense. I've just walked past your kitchen.
It's been a rock and roll
Jesus,
week.
man.
It's been a rock and roll week.
I'm gonna go out to get some coffee, and I'm gonna come back and like take care of your kitchen for you.
Get the blowtorch out.
Yeah. So what? Did you get thrown out?
No, the city, Montreal. The season, winter. we wrangled ourselves some floor space at some digs close to the venue where we were playing. This was a tour on a budget. And our merch person, although very, very, very skinny, had a sleeping problem, which required him to use a mask, one of those sleep apnea masks.
Yeah, that you normally associate with people who have a weight difficulty.
Yes. And this chap was definitely on the ectomorph scale of things. Wonderful man. There are other sizes, and we love people from all sizes. And when he was sleeping, he put on the mask, and it made him sound like Darth Vader. I was in Montreal. We'd arrived the previous day. I'd had a lot of poutine. Which,
we like the poutine.
Indeed.
Yes.
So chips, veggie gravy, and cheese curd.
Yes, gotcha.
The perfect hangover cure.
A wonderful thing.
In the wee hours of the morning, I started feeling the benefits. And
Dukey.
To cut a long story short, I was sleeping next to Darth Vader, the sleep apnea mask man.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying some regular reminders
Oh, God.
of the cuisine that I'd enjoyed the previous evening.
Yeah.
So Darth Vader's doing his business. I'm doing mine.
Wow.
Highbrow humor here.
Wow.
Unbeknownst to me, our hosts were witnessing this over a 4-minute period while trying to make their way to the kitchen to make coffee and tea for us. Darth Vader and Dukey the Farty Man were doing our best to make ourselves the worst guests these people have ever had.
Dukey, you're such a polite man. You're so lovely.
I apologise for the flatulence.
I would hope so. I mean, I think your butt is like a different entity to you.
There are other entities.
Well, because you didn't have that kind of thing with the Aspies, as they call themselves.
Oh no, they were absolutely wonderful.
They were so lovely, weren't they?
And I didn't fart around them, so it's all good.
Didn't you?
No.
That must have been difficult for you.
I hadn't had any poutine.
Gotcha. The thing about the Aspies, can I just say, it's not about the Aspergers, is it?
No,
They're just really
not
funny.
at all. Not at all. And in their show, they address it in the first couple of minutes, and the rest is just a brilliant, absolutely hilarious bit of, sketch comedy.
They're really funny. I just think that if it was like 100 years ago, before Asperger's had even been invented, because you invent these things, you don't discover them. Before it had been invented, I think they would have just been seen to be eccentrics, like marvelous eccentrics. And they're just so funny that who cares about the Asperger's? Because they're just really, really funny.
I certainly don't. And also just having them around the house and the general banter.
We had some good chats.
Absolutely hilarious.
It really was. We had some very good chats. I gotta say that when you guys told me that we were gonna go see their show, I was a little dubious. Just because because I'm a bad person, and I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time.
So you had some humble pie.
I ate some big chunks of humble fucking pie, Dukey. I mean, why was I dubious? I'm dubious about any comedy thing I go to, right? Aren't I? Like when we go to Edinburgh, I'm like, yeah, I bet this is gonna be shit.
Were you mindful of possibly having to give concessions due to the Asperger's factor?
Yeah, because I've been involved in this kind of thing before because of the kind of work I do, and where the condition comes first and like the talent comes second, and it can get, and then you're in for a night of like people being really earnest, and I guess I thought it was going to be like that, and it so wasn't. The funny comes first and the talent comes first. And see, I'm getting all earnest about it now, and because I haven't had my coffee and I don't mean to be, but the funny comes first with these guys.
They're just a fantastic comedy troupe, full stop, and lovely lads.
If you're listening to this in North America, I guess you have them coming your way, so go see them.
Absolutely.
And I mean North America. They're doing Canada and the United States.
Indeed.
Yes. Last night they did a military base.
Blimey.
Yes, I know. I mean, just how odd and exciting.
I can't help but think about Spinal Tap, where Fred Willard, or an equivalent of Fred Willard, will go, Aspies, you guys are great. We love your comedy. Well, not necessarily your comedy, but the whole comedy troupe thing. Can you do some Carrot Top for us?
May I start by saying how thrilled we are to have you here. We are such fans of your music and all of your records. That's right. I'm not speaking of yours personally, but the whole genre of the rock and roll and...
But hey, enough of my yakking. Marsha, let's get you some coffee.
Please, God, Dukey, I'm dying.
And Sylvia, do you fancy another banana?
I'll have another banana.
Have a banana.
I have one half of the American comedy troupe, Asperger's Are Us, with me here in this very studio.
Hi, my name is Ethan, and my favorite word is bibendum.
Hello, my name is New Michael, and my favorite word is Todger.
Todger.
Yes.
Obviously a fantastic British word, synonymous with bishop, Percy, Willie, and of course, one-eyed trouser snake.
Right, they don't have this word where I'm from.
Well, they do now.
Oh, they certainly do if I go back.
So you're going to take your Todger and spread it all over North America.
Yeah, I'm the Screamin' Jay Hawkins of comedy.
Ethan,
Yes, bibendum, the Michelin Man.
tell me more.
That's his real name. The Michelin Man's real name is bibendum. It was adopted from an alcohol mascot of some form, and the name was never changed. And bibendum is Latin for to drink, is the Latin verb for to drink. So the guy who's trying to sell you tires, which are safe, is encouraging you to drink
Right.
while driving, presumably.
Have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.
So you are here in the United Kingdom of Great Britain on tour. You're a good 3 weeks into your promotional campaign on this side of the pond. How has it been going?
About 4, actually.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having
Yeah,
fun.
because we've been here for over a month, and it's gone quite good.
I had the pleasure of seeing you guys perform in Colchester at the Arts Centre, a venue that I've performed at myself. A great venue, and also
beautiful.
a packed venue.
Yeah.
That was a packed house.
Yeah, which was a surprise to us, by the way. That we had no idea how many tickets were sold until we showed up. It was a pleasant
It
surprise.
was a very pleasant
Would you
surprise.
say so?
Also considering that Jimmy Carr was doing a show up the street. So we were worried, oh no, we're not going to have an audience. But 91 people in Colchester decided to come see us, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was 100 plus, actually. 91 was just
Okay.
as of
Okay,
4
great.
o'clock, but about
Nice.
25 more people showed up.
I think that might have been our biggest audience on this tour then.
Yeah, it was.
At this sold-out Colchester performance, you polled the audience, asking them whether or not they saw the quote-unquote documentary entitled Asperger's Are Us, available on Netflix. And it was through that documentary that I first came across you guys. And I was surprised. The number of hands was actually surprisingly low.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Quite a bit. More recently, actually, that we've been doing that for a while. Even before we left for Europe, polling the audience to see how many people had seen the documentary, and as you would perhaps kind of expect, it was probably higher in the U.S. But at the same time, even there, it seems like less and less of our audience is coming just because of the documentary,
Yep.
which is great.
Yeah, we did. So we did a tour of the East Coast in March, so it was still very recently after the movie had come out.
Right, came out back in November.
And appeared on Netflix in December. And also we did, just a few shows in New York and Boston in January, really right after it came out. And on those shows, when we asked that question, I'd say 90% of the audience raised their hand.
Right, so that is the draw, the chief draw to get bums on seats stateside. since November 2016 has been the documentary.
Right.
But I'd say since then we've done a few shows in the States, and say even by April, the sort of like the wave of the documentary had already faded, right? Because it was trending on Netflix for a while. So I mean that sort of stars kind of dimmed already. So, and by the time we did say the show in Connecticut in May,
Yeah, right before we left.
there's already a lot fewer hands coming up for that question.
So the documentary provided an obvious spike.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yes.
It gave us
It's just that, it's a spike.
It gave us, or I'd say, gave us certainly a spark as well. Coming here in the first place is
Right.
because in the first place is because somebody really liked us from the documentary, and decided to try to crowdfund us to get to Europe.
Right.
And then whilst coming here, though, earning a lot more fans by just promoting the show and performing here.
How do you feel about the documentary as such? It's a little bit of a poison chalice. Yes, it's opened up doors, but it doesn't necessarily show the comedy troupe and what you do
Right.
in the best light.
We're very grateful for the opportunities it's provided, and but that said, and this is something we've always been open about. This is not the movie we would have made. We would have liked to see a good bit more comedy. It was kind of two different agendas, and by and large, that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
On stage in Colchester, Noah made reference to the hallmark moments of the documentary.
Yeah, we call it in the U.S. they have Hallmark cards. And there's the expression of something that's, say, overly sentimental and sort of, we'd say, cheesy, or like a puff piece. We'd say it was a Hallmark card.
Right.
So I think to sum up my feelings of the movie, probably all of us, we'd call the movie a bit of a Hallmark card, and it's strange because that's just not us.
Right. It is, and I mean, to be fair, we do kind of open the door up for us by being upfront in our name about the fact that we all have Asperger's, and people are going to be interested in that. But I do think that it is a bit frustrating when it's yes, we have Asperger's. We will talk about it from time to time, but we just want to be known as a comedy group that does awesome shows. And
yeah, but after all, the movie's not as bad as it could have been, right?
Right. Yeah, certainly.
Right.
Indeed. So the glass is half full.
I'd say, yeah, or at least 45% full or something.
Initially, when I saw the thumbnail appear on my Netflix screen, and
Clean your screen.
What?
Stop clipping your nails on your screen.
And I just saw the description and thought it would be a fly-on-the-wall documentary detailing a comedy troupe and the trials and tribulations. Oh, by the way, they happen to have Asperger's. And I thought, right, in the first 5 minutes, they're going to address that. And then from the 6th minute onwards, I would have forgotten about it and bring on the comedy. And instead, it was more about kind of family dynamics and capturing meltdowns.
Yeah.
You, Michael, I'm looking at you.
That was that was really helping the director out at that point, because I saw what he was going for, and there wasn't enough sort of interesting stuff happening. He was really his movie was going to be a snoozer. And this was supposed to be his first big break. He flew all the way to Boston from LA after all. So I said, I think I'm going to make things interesting for him. So I staged a little bit of a meltdown and
gave me some laxatives beforehand. It was a very elaborate plan.
Excellent. And that aided with the flatulence.
Yes.
You assholes fart?
Yeah, I did.
You know one thing about, my least favorite thing about you guys is that you smell,
Yeah,
and
like
you sneeze and
you
cough.
smell any better. Yeah, you
and fart
smell just
all
as
over my
bad.
room.
You
But with
do
all you
too.
guys here together, it makes it. I can't even be in this room. It smells so bad,
I
actually.
mean,
so,
we all do it.
yeah.
You do it in my house too.
I want you guys to leave.
I'm not gonna leave. It's 5:30. We have an hour and a half. We need to rehearse.
Well, I'm leaving. Fuck you guys. Like, I can't handle this.
Ethan, it
Yeah.
was you. You are the one who
Yeah,
dealt
that,
it.
that was me. That
and
was
you,
me.
Michael,
It's
he'd
not
be the
something-
one who smelt it.
But my favorite quote of the movie is "Fuck you guys, I'm leaving," and that's what I said. Of course, that's why. Of course, my favorite quote couldn't have been something somebody else said. And when the movie was when they were promoting the movie right when it came out, the Facebook people, or no, I mean the people who made the documentary, they had all these really cheesy memes they made. Remember that, Ethan?
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
And so there was one of me with a quote an actual quote of me and a picture of me where it was one of the cheesy sort of quote. He managed to get out of me about, like, having Asperger's means you can still do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Inspirational memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Cheesy memes, really.
So anyway, so I took that one and I replaced the text to my favorite quote of the movie, which is "Fuck you guys, I'm leaving."
And he tricked Noah into. Noah was like, "Oh God, he made that. You should tell him to take it down."
And we would have really posted it too, but we don't do any swears on our Facebook, but we would have.
We could have made it like one of those motivational ones with like the sky and the rainbow or something.
Yeah, like how they have those. Yeah, that that your 70-year-old aunt might post. Those kind of things. There was another one where it was a picture of me, but there was some text as if I said it, but it wasn't in quotes because I didn't actually say it, which was "I don't obsess, I think intensely," which is annoying. It was
Where did that quote come from? Is that not from the film?
No, it's not from the film. It's just like it's supposed to be like about autism, right?
Right.
And it's really, really annoying. Actually, I hate it. So I was honestly pretty pissed when I saw it. Every time I would go on the Asperger's or Us documentary Facebook page, which is of course run by the people who make the documentary, I'd usually get really annoyed and on the verge of puking by how disgusting that crap is. But so I saw that come up, and so I went and took it, and I found a picture of Osama bin Laden, and I put it over me, and so now I changed the Asperger's or Us documentary meme to Osama bin Laden saying, "I don't obsess, I think intensely."
Again, I would want to see that film. I realise that particular type of publicity might take you in a different direction. It should.
Yeah,
but
might take us straight toward Manhattan.
Yeah, well, indeed.
Oh, boy.
Oh, nice.
Oh boy.
Did you use a sexy photo of Osama?
It was the only.
Aren't they all?
It was well. It was the one where it was only one where I apparently on Google image search you can choose to search for pictures that don't have a background, so they're easy to just drop in over something
else. So you're
else.
not the first person to use Osama in a special way.
Yes.
So the work was done largely for you. It was begging for it.
Oh, the internet, right?
Certain films have used non-standard publicity techniques. The Judd Apatow film, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I seem to remember, I was touring the States at the time, there were loads and loads of bumper stickers which just said, "Who the fuck is Sarah Marshall?"
But by the way, speaking of Judd Apatow, I think Mark Duplass or somebody must have known somebody who knows him or something to get him to tweet about the movie when it came out, saying like how he was going to watch it, and or so he said so Judd Apatow tweeted is how I just watched this movie, and Noah responded with our Twitter, "Cool, did you learn something about comedy?"
We never heard back.
Another one might have been, Did you feel the film was 40 minutes too short? In terms of the DuPlass brothers, they produced the film.
Mostly just Mark.
Yeah, we've never met Jay DuPlass, the other fella. This is mostly Mark, I believe.
And
so thanks, Jay, for cutting all the comedy. We know this is your fault.
Yeah. It's gone.
fingers are being pointed.
That's
Jay,
right.
Yes.
Jay,
Throwing down the gauntlet.
yeah. Listen, Jay, we're going to meet you. Center of town. By sundown.
Yeah, well,
shit's going to get real.
Yeah.
And how did you get on with Jay's brother?
Well, see, so people have asked us, one of the only times, like right after the movie came out, I was on Tinder, and I asked this.
As you do.
Yeah, and I
As
asked,
one does.
Just for the lols, right?
And I asked this. I matched with somebody, and I asked her, "Oh, so out of curiosity, what made you swipe right?" And she said, "I saw the movie." And then the first thing she said after that, what was it like working with the DuPlass brothers? Oh. And she was, as Noah would say, a dick rider, because it seemed like that she's just but as a different kind of meeting.
A dick rider.
Right, that means
that's quite poetic.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, just interested in me because I was in the movie, and didn't respond after I said that. I said the answer to that question, because he was a DuPlass fan, that, well, we didn't really work with him because it was Alex Lehman who made the movie and directed it.
Right.
And then only after Alex Lehman made the movie and basically had the final cut did he show it to Mark Duplass, because Mark Duplass was an actor on a TV show, The League.
He actor, and he also directed it. So yeah, he was basically Alex's boss, I think.
Yeah. So, right. So, and Alex was just a cameraman on that show. So then Alex convinced Mark to see the draft, his rough cut of this movie he was working on, and then Mark liked it enough to slap his name on it as executive producer, basically, and add in a few fancier titles and get it on Netflix. That was basically Mark's involvement in that.
Which, was quite substantial.
Indeed.
Quite helpful.
Indeed.
Quite
but yeah,
helpful.
he wasn't. He our images. He wasn't. He didn't make too many, if any, creative. He wasn't. I don't think he was put. He just liked what Alex had made, by and large.
Yeah,
I think.
That whole bit in the beginning of the movie, but it had the pictures.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that
childhood pictures. So I think he made it worse than that way.
That was the editing thing, but
These Aspergers can be cute babies as well.
Yeah, it's about our life story.
Yeah. There was a bit of that.
Yeah.
There were also some compromising photos of Jack, which we won't get into, but you can watch that if you like.
I like.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's on the extended cut.
Mm-hmm.
How does one find the extended cut?
It's you go on Pornhub.com.
Oh,
I was gonna
I have
direct.
that bookmarked. I'm ready to go.
I was gonna direct him to BitTorrent.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's on. It's, I think the movie is somebody uploaded it to one of the torrenting sites, so you could get it. It's also on YouTube, so no need to buy a Netflix subscription.
Isn't that kind of one aspy, 2 cups?
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh boy!
It's getting hot in here.
Well, after I live that down.
How soon before its appearance on Netflix did you guys actually see the finished article?
So we got flown into South by Southwest in March of 2016, where it premiered. But prior to that, we had seen an initial cut of the movie, and
Probably a year prior.
a year before. This movie was made. This was all shot 4 years ago, by the way.
Yeah, it's all shot,
which is quite interesting.
It's a June, July, August 2013.
Yeah,
And then there's an update 18 months afterwards, which ties everything up beautifully.
that's in 2015.
Yeah, no stone left unturned at the end of that film.
Right.
I suppose so, except for the funny stones. They left those unturned.
But so we had seen the rough cut in of what he had so far. That was actually prior to when he filmed that epilogue. Anyway,
Was that at a screening?
No,
right.
Because we had in our deal with him that like we had final say
Right.
on it. But the thing is, well, first of all, he actually never asked us if we approved of the very, very, very final thing that Mark made, all those edits that
Right.
Mark had. But anyway,
I mean, it wasn't terribly different.
Right.
It was just that stuff in the beginning.
right, but so Alex first sent us the very rough cut in say something like March of 2015, and it was pretty close to how it is now, except for it had even less comedy in it. And we sent him back a long, detailed reply of all the things we didn't like about, or not even all the things, because there's some that you can't even list them all, right? So there's, he might think we were being nitpicky, but actually it's quite the opposite. But anyway,
I don't think he.
I think he probably
Who
did.
knows? Who knows what goes through his head?
Yeah, but then anyway, so then he got back to us with basically the same movie, but it was slightly different. That had a
Less
few more
nudity.
That had a few more
Nice.
few more of our jokes in it, but was by and large the same. And we couldn't. It was like, we can't keep fighting about it forever. We just we did all we could to make it the movie, to make it more like the movie we'd want it to be, but.
So that happened. Then we saw it last March when it debuted at South by Southwest, and came out 7 or so months later.
And the thing is I never saw it at South by Southwest because I was in the theater, but I had my head down the whole time. And my intention was to put my earplugs in my eye mask, but somehow both those things ended up not being in my bag that I brought. So I just had my head down the whole time, literally the entire time.
Was it just too much sensory overload for yourself, being exposed to your meltdowns?
Well, no, I don't give a shit about the meltdowns. But I hate the.
That's actually his favorite part of the movie.
That literally is my favorite part of the movie, but
and the nudity, which sadly got edited. But
yeah,
again, BitTorrent.
Yeah,
but I just don't. I just dislike the movie that much, and it's so strange so upsetting to see myself in that light with that tone, that cheesy, like a Hallmark card style tone. I just don't want to see it. And I'd been resenting the movie for years. I started doing engineering school in 2013. Honestly, like a lot of this was like escapism, really, because I knew the documentary was coming, and I had a feeling of what he was going to make it into, and like I just really had many sleepless nights dreading this upcoming documentary, and how much I hated the whole thing, and I really just so I escaped into engineering because it's the opposite of comedy.
Other people escape into a world of addiction, or they go traveling. You explore engineering, chemical engineering in particular. How very uni, Michael?
I suppose so, yeah.
I mean, depending on what kind of chemicals you're engineering, it might not be so far off.
That's a good point.
Absolutely, but because
we don't know what he was making in the lab at UMass Lowell.
Yeah, well, because in engineering school, you're just so overwhelmed with all your reading you have to do and all the studying, assignments, everything. You really don't have time to do it. I suppose if I was like a business major or something, it wouldn't have worked. But chemical engineering, yeah, I was too busy to think about my how much I hated the movie.
So basically, if anyone has a friend or indeed kids who are thinking of not going to university, all they need to do is to be in a documentary made by your man, and and their educational goals will soon be realized.
I suppose so. But then the movie will come out before they graduate, and it'll be and they'll sort of, if they cope the way I have, they'll adapt to make a conscious effort to lose their sense of embarrassment and they're sent because I mean, if I cared what people thought of me, I would have lost my mind by now because of that doc. So I've endeavored to attempt to lose my sense of embarrassment, and instead just enjoy the publicity the movie has gotten us, and it's kind of my ticket to it's encouraged me to reapply myself to comedy after all. And now that I don't have the need to do the escape anymore because the movie's out, there's nothing I can do to fight it anymore. It's already out. So I think as soon as that happened, honestly, my interest in chemical engineering really...
Yeah, that's about
you know...
To the point where you left the course prematurely, 3/4 of the way in.
Yeah,
Is that right?
I'd say even more than 3/4. Like,
I mean, but it was good. It seemed like for you to have finished it, you would have needed to delve in for another year or something.
Yeah, what it was I could only I needed to take a course that was only offered in the spring, but I needed a prerequisite for that course, so I couldn't take it last spring, or I could this past spring, and so it didn't make sense to go this spring at all. So if I'm going to finish university, I've got like 1.5 semesters worth of modules to do.
But I think a more important module in your life, how about this for a link, is the comedy, is the touring.
When the crowdfund got set up,
by Sophia,
right? Sophia from Cardiff, who as we alluded to, is the whole most of the reason we're over here, because she saw the documentary and then looked like you, Andy, looked into our stuff and thought we were really funny. So she said, I want to have these guys at a comedy festival that's happening out here, and so we turned that into a whole tour. Anyway.
She set up a
crowdfund, and Mark DuPlass agreed to match the donation of $1,000, and he got some guy to donate $1,000.
So in like 5 minutes, the crowdfunding was over basically. Mark tweeted said if you guys get to the first 1,000, I'll pay the second, and right away, one of his rich followers, a former executive from like Ticketmaster or Live Nation or something, just paid them. So we're very grateful for all that Mark has done. He got the movie on Netflix. He paid for the crowdfund, so he's done a lot for us.
I mean, we're
grateful.
The thing about the documentary is, look, we wish it were different in quite a few ways. At the same time, by sort of Hollywood standards, I think at the end of the day, we made out okay. We made out pretty well.
Yeah.
It's been a net good. That
it's been a Netflix, Ethan.
We'll be honest. We'll be honest about what we think about it, but don't confuse that with a sense of being ungrateful,
Right.
From a touring point of view and the performances that you're doing, from a makeup point of view, what do you think the proportion is of people who are aspy affected, either where they may have Asperger's themselves or indeed work alongside people? Do you, when you look out there and when you do your Q&A bits at the end of each performance, how long have you done the Q&A parts, by the way?
About a year, I want to say.
Right.
2 years?
I mean, I think we started doing them regularly after every show in 2015.
Yeah. We started at Drexel. That's where it started, I think.
But I mean, we had done Q&As before then, just not always after every show.
Right.
We kind of figured out by then that we should do it every single show.
Right.
I have to say, because you were all operating off the cuff, the Q&A part was hilarious. It was my favourite part of the show, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. Yeah.
The sketch stuff is absolutely brilliant.
Sure.
But it was just great seeing you operate as you do around my house. I've had the pleasure of hosting Asperger's or Us at Dukey Radio Show HQ, and I've heard stories about people who had the pleasure of being around the Marx Brothers at home, and apparently, if the films are great, what they were like in the back garden, having tea and crumpet, something else. And I feel the same way about you guys, where just hearing the banter and where everything goes, you guys are naturally funny.
Well, thank you. It's, not quite as funny as, say, something like Wikipedia.
Right. Wikipedia's hilarious.
I think so. Or the back of this Marmite container, but we're up there.
I mean, I think Marmite does have a comedic value on many levels, just from what I'm told.
It's certainly funnier than Vegemite, for a start. The Australian equivalent.
Right.
Weirdly, Vegemite, despite its name, is not vegetarian, whereas Marmite is. Bit of a trivia there for you.
Well, I suppose, if you consider, isn't the yeast living, though, around in there still, though?
Oh, goodness, are we are worried about the life of yeast. Fair enough.
Right. I mean, I'm certainly not.
But now I'm just thinking about, when I eat bread, all the yeast are just...
Save the yeast.
Save the yeast. Talking of diets, Noah Britton, he's a freegan. Could you tell me a little bit about what being a freegan entails?
Well, he's a vegan in that, of course, everybody knows what that is already. But he'll also eat... But he will eat animal products if it's discarded and not going to be eaten by somebody,
right.
So he doesn't believe in wasting food.
Or if it's sourced from somewhere he finds better
ethics.
Ethically better.
Right, so he doesn't... Okay, so this is where he's not technically actually a freegan anymore, where he will, for instance, eat stuff... He believes it's okay to eat stuff that's hunted in the wild, so he will eat fish caught in the wild.
Right.
And also he can't eat soy, so he's got this very bizarre diet.
And which must make your tours quite interesting when it comes to getting grub.
I suppose so, although we don't...
We usually just split up for that, actually.
Every man for himself,
But it is interesting when people want to host us, and we all say, well, we all have different dietary requirements, and but in a lot in the three of us's cases, it's this is a very aspy thing about food. It's not an allergy issue as much as food sensitivities.
Yeah, it's not about allergies or ethics with me, but
with soy, we'll come to you in a moment, Michael. With soy and Noah's issue, is that actually an allergy, or is it just a sensitivity?
It is an allergy.
Soy is an allergy, yeah.
Oh, right. Good. Soy appears left, right, and centre.
Yeah. Yes, everything.
So it must be a real struggle.
Everything with vegetable oil, you never know if it's.
And this is something he recently discovered, actually.
Yeah,
he hasn't
newly developed.
Right. He hasn't been a vegan with a soy allergy or conscious of a soy allergy the whole time he's been a vegan. Like, this is something that he found out in the last 3 years.
Right,
oh, goodness. Yeah. Right. And your own food dynamics, Michael, talk to me.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. It's not anything systemic that I could explain easily. But, gosh, what the hell was I going to say before that, though?
You may, possibly, were you going to talk about Soylent?
I might have been talking about Soylent. I do love Soylent. Oh yeah, I was going to mention how people they want to when they're hosting us they say, what do you eat? Well, let's go. I want to cook for you guys, and it's always so hard to explain to them how that's not a choice. But this wonderful lady in Odense that hosted us, Annalie, she got vegan soy-free cheese somehow, and cooked
My
us.
word, that's brilliant.
And cooked us pizza.
If you're a vegan with a soy allergy, move to Denmark. I guess that's the place to be.
Yeah, but anyway, she was the most wonderful host ever, besides Andy.
Bless. Backpedaling and much appreciated.
Yes.
And so, in terms of the
European... the queen of hosting.
In terms of the European and British dates that you've done so far, what has been the highlight?
Oh boy. A bunch of different highlights, honestly.
Like we've met a lot of for me it's all the people I've met from all over I would say the world, but not really, just mostly all over Europe. I suppose I met a nice Iranian, so I mean so many I met more people this because I've made a conscious effort, I think, to be a little bit more extroverted and outgoing than I usually am, because at home I spend weeks and weeks literally not leaving my house. I'll leave my house one time in a period of a week, and then because I get my food delivered to me, my Soylent delivered, and I do my working from home, right, all in my computer and my home office I have built for myself. So I don't so I'm very introverted and antisocial, I suppose, at home.
He has a Soylent put on a C-130, and it comes in every 2 months.
And what is the longest period that you've gone sustaining yourself only on Soylent?
Well, after just a couple days, I'll probably have maybe something like a fortune cookie or something. So it's like,
oh goodness! I mean, splurge out. Why don't you?
Yeah,
just the fortune
Take
cookie.
it easy on the calories.
Oh
there.
my word!
Yeah, or you know what I do?
In your future, I see more Soylent.
Well, what I do is I buy stuff like nuts, because nuts are very good at suppressing the appetite, because they're so low in carbs and so high in fats and energy. And so sometimes when you're on the Soylent diet, sometimes you can get maybe a little hungry at sometimes, especially say at night, if I already had my 2,000 calories worth of Soylent, but I'm maybe feeling a little hungry, I'll have some handful of some salted peanuts or something. But and also a lot of seltzer, lots and lots of cans of sparkling soda, water, seltzer.
So for the most part, that is what you live on.
Yeah.
You have Soylent and the odd fortune cookie. And nuts.
Yeah.
And fizzy water.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what it is.
And for how long have you been doing this Soylent, nuts, and fortune cookie diet?
So first started in, beginning of 2015, but it's been a transition, right? Because it took us a while to get used to just having the Soylent. So it's slowly taken over more and more of my diet as I've gotten more and more willpower and more used to having just Soylent. And it's been a transition, but I suppose this year has been really like the most Soylent of years for me.
It was a Soylent year.
Yeah,
but the best kind.
He's just mainlining Soylent now.
Because they have coffee Soylent now, or a coffeeist as they call it. It's full of caffeine, so I have that every morning. While I'm home, I don't have it on the road. Unfortunately, I don't ship it to the UK.
Not yet.
And it's too much to carry as well.
Do you have anything to declare? Yes, 2 suitcases worth of Soylent.
well, actually, when I had the powdered version of Soylent, and I tried to bring that in the plane, but the TSA searched my bags, and when I asked them why they were searching my bags, they took out this, and they were really looking at the Soylent carefully, and it was because they said the powder was so fine it showed up on their system as liquid.
Oh, right.
Right, but luckily I don't even have the powder. I don't use the powdered version of Soylent
So
anymore,
I came up to them and smoothed things over. I was like, look, guys, this isn't liquid. It's cocaine,
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
And they were cool with it.
Yeah. Indeed. Fair enough. Sometimes, you need a line to make yourself feel a little bit better. Ethan, what about you? Do you have any food proclivities?
So mine are really random. Like, there are certain fruits that, like oranges, really drive me nuts for some reason. But it's just this very strong odor that I've always been made uneasy by. But then a few other things, like if I thought of them, I would. But generally, I can eat just about anything. I'm probably Jack and I are probably the least food restricted out of all of us.
So wherever you are, you can get by, provided that oranges are not
Right. I mean,
sans skin and being very odoriferous
yeah,
near you.
exactly. I mean, if someone's gonna eat one around me, I'm not gonna complain about it. I might walk away, but no, I'm able to eat. I'm able to eat most things. Including an occasional. These guitars actually look quite delicious.
Sometimes when you need something to gnaw on, a little bit of rosewood or maple goes down a real treat. Very tasty. So you'll eat more or less anything, including guitars and basses.
So when's the pre-interview gonna end so we can start the real one?
Oh yes. Do you want to talk about Caveman, the film?
Oh, excellent. So I assume you've seen Caveman?
Yes.
I quite like the film. I mean, I know it's
I've seen bits and pieces of it. But...
Yeah, it's
Set it up for me.
Okay, Caveman. A movie starring Ringo Starr from the late 70s.
They don't call it the Stone Age for nothing.
And there's no English dialogue or a real dialogue in the entire movie. It's all just cavemen grunts.
Atuk, zug zug, lama.
Claymation dinosaurs living amongst the people. And I think it's a fun movie, right? It's
a brilliant film. It shouldn't be. It's amazing. I cannot remember when I last saw it, but the bottom line is I still remember some of the non-English dialogue.
Yeah.
Atu galungalana.
Yeah.
Lana aluna atukre.
Atuk zug zug alana.
Zug zug, yes. Which, even though you might not be able to speak Central Caveman, you can probably work out what it means. And I love the fact that Ringo Starr, his caveman dialect is most definitely Scouse. Alright, Atu galungalana. And it was on the set of that film that he met Barbara Bach.
Yeah, he met his future longtime wife on that film, and in the film, the very last scene, he throws Barbara into a huge pile of stool,
yes,
or foul or shit.
Shit is perfectly acceptable. And I kind of get the idea. This is a film that you obsessed over.
I saw it
for
a
little
couple
bit,
times.
right?
I wouldn't say obsess.
But it randomly came up in conversation after your arrival here, and like Noah rolled his eyes when he heard us both going on about all things caveman. It's like, oh no. Yeah, you're not gonna get started about
Here he goes.
Yeah, Noah has a really I'd say to be charitable, whimsical. I was going to say stupid. The theory about the movie that it was originally made to be a serious movie, but then when they realized how stupid it looked, they threw in a couple of funny bits. And to me, it's quite obvious it was meant to be a comedy from the start.
Because we all know that Ringo Starr was really, really into caveman psychology, and he wanted to do an in-depth analysis.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's one of those people that believes that dinosaurs still inhabit the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not one of those deniers.
To this day.
To this day. And it wasn't claymation. Those dinosaurs were real.
Yeah.
So was the shit.
Did you see the fried egg scene? Remember that?
Oh god, I don't remember that scene.
That there's a huge dinosaur egg, and they rolled it off a cliff, and it landed into this like sort of like a pool of what do you call it?
Lava.
A thermally heated water, right? From kind of like
a geyser.
Yeah, a geyser, and we turned into a giant fried egg.
Yeah, of course, because Ringo in that film, invents modern music.
Yeah, the invention of music,
cooking.
the invention of modern music in that scene is, I think, it's actually a cool song. Remember that?
It's really good.
Yeah.
It is a brilliant film, and I thought I was the only person that remembered it, and New Michael, I thank you for being a partner in caveman-loving crime.
And by the way, I apparently in the movie theater when it came out, they moviegoers received a little card of translations of the caveman lingo.
Oh, I'd love to have one of
Yeah,
those.
it's a great souvenir.
That's cool.
So like zug zug, intimate relations, a tugalungalana, a woman. Brilliant, goodness. Yeah, I'm amazed that they didn't, come up with a dubbed version of subtitles. And then there's one character who miraculously actually speaks English.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have written the script for that bad boy. And you are not only performing in this country, New Michael, you're also looking for a woman from Pinner.
I'm also here for the Sheilas because
It's all about the Sheilas.
it's all about the Sheilas because I'd like to get my UK passport. I suppose I'd settle for a European passport as well.
Sensitive topic. Yes, carry on.
Right. So anyways, but that's just if there's Sheilas listening who aren't in the UK.
I mean, ideally, you would find a half British, half EU national.
There you go.
Right.
From Pinner. You would marry her, and you'd be able to avail yourself of all of her rights. And Pinner, obviously, is very important to your good self because of your love for
Elton John.
For Elton John.
Grew up in Pinner. As to quote Elton John, this is where I learned where I was from Pinner, as how pleased he was to have a chart topper on black radio in the United States. To me, as a little white boy from Pinner, to have not just one but 2 hits on black radio, that's more than I could ever have asked for. But he grew up in the Northwood Hills area, and that's where he wrote your song with Bernie, because Bernie would take the train in and sleep overnight. I think from Lincolnshire, was where Bernie would take the train from.
That's a long trek, particularly back then.
Right, so that's why Bernie would sleep overnight at Elton's parents' house, and they would be writing those songs in the early days, and then of course. The biggest hit to come out of Elton's parents' flat in Northwood Hills was your song.
Turn that racket down. I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
And
Elton takes his tennis seriously.
this is true.
Yes.
Oh,
You saved my
this is,
dumb joke.
You're referencing a scene from Tantrums and Tiaras. Tiaras and Tantrums.
I think it's Tantrums and
It
Tiaras.
is Tantrums and Tiaras. He has a great diva strop.
But he does his. I am referencing that because he does say how he takes his tennis really seriously in that movie. But he also, I know, otherwise he takes his tennis very seriously. For instance, his friendship with Billie Jean King.
Right.
And of course the song about the tennis team called the Philadelphia Freedoms, and became the song Philadelphia Freedom, which was a number 1 hit.
I didn't know they were a tennis team.
There was a tennis team briefly called the Philadelphia Freedoms.
Interesting.
And that's where that comes from.
All roads lead to tennis.
I suppose.
All roads lead to Pinner.
Or as Paul McCartney would say when he was performing live in Red Square, all roads lead to Moscow.
Now, Ethan, I have to ask you this. Having a person with who is a musical encyclopedia as New Michael is...
I wouldn't say musical encyclopedia. I'd say encyclopedia about like 2 or 3 tiny things about music.
Right.
About Elton John, Paul McCartney, Kate Bush.
But we have a show here in the UK, a program called Mastermind, in which people choose a specific topic and they get asked by
I've heard of this.
by the host to answer them and so on, and you would absolutely win in a big way there. But Ethan, how do you feel about Elton John and Paul McCartney? We will talk about Macca shortly. Are you a music fan? Were you a fan of these artists before?
Not really. I did have one. My friend since 4th grade did try to start essentially a Beatles tribute band once years ago. I was like, okay, cool. Never did anything.
But your big thing is that guy.
Oh yes. There is a fellow who makes some very
What's his name?
very vulgar, but that's actually not my reason for valuing them. Very bizarre songs.
This is Ethan's favorite music.
Is this a death metal entity? Or
I don't
Definitely
know.
not death metal. No, because there's
Noah
one guy-
actually put me onto it as a lad.
What was his name again?
Lee Marshall.
Lee Marshall. Yeah, that's his favorite music.
But no, genuinely, I don't. I do enjoy. This is the most cliched answer, and I'm sorry to give it to two aficionados such as yourselves, but I do genuinely like a bit of everything.
it's a good way to be.
So yeah, I think that a lot of the songs New Michael enjoyed, I enjoy as well. Even that's not my sort of focus. So yeah, I just kind of I enjoy music. You know, my father was actually a choral musician. So I was exposed to more classical music growing up, actually.
Didn't he have his PhD? in music?
He had a PhD in sacred music, actually.
Oh, goodness. I mean, you would have had music in the house in a big way.
Oh yes. And my younger brother's actually a cellist, and he's quite good.
And Noah, who sadly can't be here,
Right.
he played
passed
me
on.
one of his. He's passed on. Noah played me a few tracks from his band, who are a hybrid of Joy Division and Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
Was it
Joy Divorbision, I think. I think that was the name.
Yeah, and basically, so doing Roy Orbison songs in the style of Joy Division.
Yep.
Absolutely ingenious. Really good. Are you guys fans? Does he subject you to these tracks?
I've only heard briefly. I think the concept is amazing and hilarious. I've only heard a couple snippets.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, that project of his is now defunct.
Yeah, he was telling me they formed, they did one gig, and then broke up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really play close attention to Noah's music much. Some of it is good. But the thing that I like most that Noah's done musically is Awareness. So Awareness is this character, and Noah would show up only wearing a mask and only be billed and known only as Awareness. So it was anonymous, and the songs were all like.
Beach day at the beach. I went to the beach.
We went to the garden in the morning. Then we planted so many seeds. We got sunburned, so we decided to wash ourselves off at the beach. Beach day at the beach. Beach day at the beach.
And they're all kind of like that.
And how does that day progress? I mean, does surfing feature?
No,
swimming?
they're all so simple. The one of the songs would be like
I don't like popcorn because it tastes like air.
Like that's the whole song is like that. Or
shaking a hand, sucking a dick. Shaking a hand, sucking a dick.
I had a very unfortunate experience with the police once.
Some cops are assholes. Not all cops are assholes.
So it gets quite political in places.
well, not really. it's
I'm trying to give some.
I know, yeah.
You're making this very tough for me.
I can dance, I can dance, Everyone will notice me, I can dance, I can dance,
I'm a huge Awareness fan now.
Awesome.
I'm loving Awareness.
and he covered Superman was in that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Superman. Oh, Mom and Dad.
I'd like to
the
thank
Laurie
the other
Anderson
bands
track.
for leaving.
Yeah.
Does he do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
When he did that, that's the one time I performed with Awareness.
Oh yes.
In my first time going to New York as an adult. This is a lot of years ago, and then I made a surprise appearance, masked as well as Awareness's father, and I came and disciplined him after that, and
Really?
interrupted in the middle, and that's how the show ended.
So You abused your position, really, didn't you?
Well, it was, of course, planned, obviously.
What did Noah say after? Sorry, what did Awareness say to you afterwards? We're not performing anymore, Dad. No.
I forget exactly how it went.
I
but
wasn't
it was
there.
like, oh,
what a
I love
shame.
you, son. Oh, I love you, Dad. And then eventually, like, I was on top of him, and I was smacking the piano keys. It was really quite raunchy, actually. I suppose.
Talking of music, in addition to Elton John, you have a great love for Paul McCartney.
And Kate Bush.
And in the case of the former, it isn't so much the Beatles era as his solo stuff and Wings that you're the most passionate about, which is very, very unique. And a previous guest on the Dukey radio show, Moxie Moxington, also known as Ms. Moxie, is also the same way. To quote Alan Partridge, Wings, the band the Beatles could have been.
These Wings. They're only the band the Beatles could have been.
And you subscribe to this. What is your favourite guise of Macca's post-Beatles career?
Jeez. I mean, I really like the McCartney 2 album. It'd be easier to say like Band on the Run because of course that's
a very popular album,
right? I mean, it's obviously like a very, very good album, but
not quite up to Awareness standards,
right?
But what is
right? And of course,
it predates Awareness. So.
I like it's B-sides.
No, I actually ripped off Awareness from Paul McCartney. This is a little known fact. It was a side project he was going to do, but he never got around to it.
Oh goodness, the truth comes out.
Yeah, I listened to like his B-sides a lot, like so very obscure titles like called Ubu Jubu, or a song called Don't Break the Promise, or Linda McCartney song B-side to Seaside, which is literally the B-side to a song called Seaside.
These definitely were sort of afterthoughts. Like,
yeah.
Goodness, are we putting this out as a single? We better get a B-side sorted.
Yeah.
Linda, how it go?
Yeah. Let's see. I
Are you a Linda McCartney fan?
Yeah, but see the thing.
Do you like a keyboard playing and backing vocals?
So the thing is, it's like.
May she rest in peace, and also great veggie sausages. I don't mean to be disparaging.
There's a reason why they had to do overdubbing on the Wings Over, I think it's the Wings Over America live record, and Linda was that reason. So,
who was the better keyboard player, Yoko or Linda?
Beats the shit out of me. How should I know? I don't know. I have no special knowledge about keyboard playing. I definitely don't know much about Yoko Ono's keyboard playing.
Who was the better vocalist?
Linda McCartney, hands down.
And you did something very, very special, and I reckon that you are probably the only person to visit London to do this.
Okay, yeah, I reenacted and Ethan filmed a bit of it. The Paul McCartney music video for the song Press from 1986 from the album Press to Play, where Paul McCartney just rode on the tube from East Kensington to Piccadilly Circus. Who knows?
It was South
Kensington.
South Kensington. And I mean, who knows why he chose that? But I've seen the music video loads and loads of times, and I knew I was going to London, and so I decided I wanted to go on the same route he did in that video. It was quite fun.
It's one of the first things you did on arrival here as well.
Yeah.
There was no doubting that was going to happen the night that you arrived here, and I saw the stills from it, and it's quite uncanny, despite there's 31 years difference.
There's 31 years difference, and of course, also I'm not even on the McCartney of this troupe. I'm not literally McCartney.
No,
right,
but you still exude the talent and good nature of our favourite Liverpudlian, and I understand you mingled with the locals.
Yeah,
you chatted up women while doing this.
There's a lady in the still who so I was sitting right across from New Michael, and very carefully trying to center my phone so it's clear that I'm filming him and not filming random women on the tube. So at one point she kind of looks up and has this sort of uncomfortable look on her face.
She's looking uncomfortable the whole time, and then I calmed her down.
Very, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like trying to set, like, I'm not filming you. So he turns around, he's like,
yeah. And then I say to her, I don't even know this guy. He's filming me. I don't know him, but I don't.
Who's this wise guy?
Yeah, he's gonna have.
Are you from Pinner?
Yeah, and he's gonna have, but he's not allowed to use this without getting my permission. I'm sure. I'm gonna have to sue him.
Yeah, no release forms will be signed after this. I'll have you know.
Yeah, but that's why in the still that we have on our Facebook, she's smiling big because I used my persuasion skills there to calm her down.
You're such a charmer.
Yeah.
And also it helps that Ethan, you come across as such a nice person that. Even though you were filming people right literally in their faces, because you have this nice energy about yourself, they were thinking, oh, I don't know why this person's filming me, but I'm looking forward to going home to Pinner, and who's that sexy guy with the tash sat next to me?
I was like, I'm just filming. I'm filming because I need storage for my thumb drive. I need to fill up my thumb drive because I need a new one. The newer models are so much better.
Tell me more about the storage.
Oh, well,
storage options.
Well, you can get a 32 gig.
Is that enough?
No, I'm talking 96 gig, baby. Oh, yeah. We used to do a sketch with this character. Wasn't great, but I think it has some potential.
Okay. And he held up a big old desktop computer, and that was his thumb drive.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And talking of
there's a big thumb drive.
It's got to be at least 3 gigabytes.
And you know what they say about the size of your thumb drive?
What do they say about the size of your thumb drive?
The bigger it is, the more storage it can have.
Yep. So we had a sketch where Jack was dressed as a Sheila in a coffee shop. And it's rubbing off on me. And the whole Sheila business. And I would come up and be like, I want to take your picture. And at the end, I would get on my phone and be like, no, that pickup line didn't work either. I'm going to stop paying you soon. Were I not afraid of getting maced, I may have used that line to try and fail to defuse the situation on the tube.
And all of this, you put your lives at risk. You could potentially have been directed to the police, arrested, or in the name of recreating the press video from Paul McCartney from 1986.
Yeah, exactly.
That is dedication to art.
I mean, I don't think we were ever in any danger per se. Like, if it got out of hand, we would have.
Nah, we're always in constant danger. I disagree.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm trying to add some flames beneath this here.
Yeah,
it could have been horrible things could have happened. You could have been deported. Your tour cancelled prematurely.
Banned from the UK.
And all of this because that you were recreating Paul McCartney's press video.
Yeah.
And in terms of your comedy style and the sketches that you do, I detected, from my point of view, having seen you just last week, a lot of British influences. You'd mentioned that Monty Python are an influence. Any other British influences?
Tony Blair, Theresa May,
Kate Bush,
Jeremy Corbyn,
certainly.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
That's a great source of amusement, and indeed, at one time a British concern.
Well, it
still is really. We want it back. We want you guys back.
And I'd gladly,
I'm not sure if you do.
If it was up to me, I'd gladly give it back.
Have you been to Lowell?
Any other comedy troupes who inspired you?
When we were in the Museum of Comedy a couple weeks ago, we were looking at this, like, besides Python, we didn't know any of these comedians and stuff.
Right.
And we want to know about them and learn about them because they're just unknown stateside. And I don't know. See, the thing is like, I don't really know I don't follow comedians and comedy, just like I don't follow bands and music and stuff. I just have sort of like a narrow focus that I learn all about, and that's about it, right? But I of course love Rutland, Rican Television, RWT, because to me, like in my opinion, the music is the weakest part of the program. But I did like the part when George Harrison was. Have you ever seen George Harrison on Rutland?
Yes.
Rican Television.
Yeah.
He comes and does the pirate song.
Yes.
Pirate version of My Sweet Lord or something.
Oh wow.
But most of the so I grew up. I learned about Monty Python. This is a true story. When I was like 10 or 11, and my comedy heroes at the time were the South Park people, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and they said that one of their biggest influences was Python. And so because of that, I tried to find Monty Python, and I went and I was first able to get some of the records because I had like Napster or something, and I got the records easily. And then
fuck you, Lars. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, and then got the VHSs from a local library. So
you immersed yourselves in all things Python.
And now for something completely different.
Warning. The following video clip contains strong language and has therefore been rated 18 plus by the YouTube NECCA. Viewer discretion is advised.
So Jack doesn't swear. He's a non-swearing man.
No, the last time he sweared was, according to him, was by accident when he was 9 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, how...
You also can't see nudity.
What, his eyes just become blurry, or he has to divert his gaze away from...
Scales grow over his eyes if he sees it, so
right.
Like, he literally can't see it.
But then he allows himself to be filmed naked for the likes of One Aspy, Two Cups. So he can't view it, but he can participate in it.
Yeah, I think
that's an amazing. Amazing dynamic.
Yeah, he had a stunt cock, a stunt Todger for him.
A stunt Todger.
Yeah.
And who provided the said member?
Oh, it was just one of those retail no name ones. You pick it up at the Todger wholesale store.
Todger. So is that a popular business in Lowell or Boston?
They have them at Sam's Club, which is a Walmart affiliate.
Yeah.
I love the idea of making it a Walmart affiliate. Yeah. Just adds some oomph to that.
It does.
And any other strange characteristics that you're willing to share from your comedy troupe? The fact that Jack refuses to acknowledge nudity or refuses to look at it and refuses to swear must be difficult to maintain.
I suppose, and he also
in the topsy-turvy world of comedy.
I mind it less than the other two, honestly. Well, I think, and I think. Anyway, you were saying.
Well, I was gonna say Jack doesn't say that we can't swear in our personal lives. Although sometimes I can tell he feels a little uncomfortable when we're really starting to act like sailors. But the thing is, the fact that if Jack wasn't in the troupe, we probably would have, over the years, all this time, we probably would have a little bit of swearing in our show over the years. But I think that's really for the better that we don't, because
we don't need it.
And
I'm a hypocrite about it, but I'm kind of the same way as Jack. I'm not as reflexive about it, but it's not something I go out of my way to do.
Wait a minute, this is a funny story, actually. So,
what have I gotten into?
In the early is being opened.
In the early days of the troupe, we before we really had it in our heads, no swearing.
Oh boy!
Because
we
had something about, I think the line was like "kick your ass" or something, or "kick you in the ass." So we had to censor. To censor ass for Jack. We had to figure out. So we changed. So we went ass to mouth. And we censored ass to mouth. But it's ironic that Jack is responsible for going ass to mouth.
Brilliant. So because Ethan, I've not heard you drop a single S or F bomb.
I mean, it's something I do when I'm pissed. honestly.
Or very angry, as you
Right.
guys say.
That's fine. I understand. I can speak American. We're good. But I
But
appreciate
for all your listeners.
Yes, thank you. I mean, out of anger, sometimes it's necessary to grab an expletive. In the UK, we really do love our swearing. Like the C word in particular.
Yeah,
gets
I was gonna
brandished
say
a
that's
lot.
in the U.S. That's
It's a no-go
One
zone.
step below the N-word, I'd say.
right.
Yeah.
You do not say the C word.
I was on tour stateside, and I was in somewhere in the Midwest. It was actually Omaha, and at a really, really nice diner. And I was there with my band, and we were talking normally as we do, and dropped a couple of solid C words. And quite naturally, not deliberately to evoke any reaction.
Right.
And there was a elderly couple behind us, and they asked to change booths because we were offending them so badly. And I felt really, really bad because if that's what if our intention really was to get those cunts to move,
Right.
we would have been far more foul. And that's when I realised, oh my word, yes, stateside, the C word. Naughty, 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 naughty. And of course, because New Michael has really picked up the lingo. You say maths, you use bum on seats as a phrase, and it all feels very, very natural. Although, for reasons that I don't know, you continue to use Sheilas to describe our women here, women anywhere.
He keeps using this obscure Russian slang. It's really weird.
And exactly, the final stage of you adopting all things British is really to embrace the C word. You can do it in country, here it'll be accepted. Obviously, they in addition to Asperger's, they might assume that you have Tourette's if you were to start doing that stateside. But here you can embrace your inner cunt.
It's his plan for going through customs. He's gonna talk about getting frustrated really loudly.
You need not do it on air. This is not pressure. Off pod, I've had many conversations with New Michael in which he's asked me about how Brits do certain things, how the phrases that we use. That really is your graduation. Your graduation is going to, in becoming an adopted Brit, it is really hanging in the balance about how you accept the C word.
The thing is I don't think, unlike the N word, right, there's no group of people that sort.
Well, some
people say it depends toward women.
Some people
but
see it as being misogynistic.
So
I don't know if anything similar happens here.
Yeah. But anyway, I toyed with saying it on air, but I'm not going to.
Oh, you don't have to, but the fact that you're considering
wait for Jack to get here. He'll drop him. He'll drop him left and right.
Because it is just a fantastic word, really. It just there's sometimes that only the C word will do. Again, you're under no pressure.
The usage
something
different here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And weirdly,
well, the meaning.
Oh,
right.
Well, it's every kind of meaning can apply to it, and
it's kind of like fuck or shit.
Yeah. Indeed. And it can be used in quite an endearing way as well.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah. I've really missed you. How are you doing?
Okay, so the same way the blacks use the N-word.
So that's what you're gonna say in customs. You're gonna go,
well, it takes one to know one. And so after you're finished with your British and European promotional campaign of Asperger's Us, you then do it all over again in North America.
Oh, yes.
With a ridiculously short gap. You're barely going to be recovering from jet lag, and then you're on the road again.
Yeah, the tour doesn't really stop, honestly. It just...
Yeah, we're very grateful for the that we set aside 3 days, but still, 31st, we're driving down to New York City and heading west from there up into Canada, then looping back through the Midwest. Yeah.
And
the West East tour. Yeah.
And with regards to the performance that I saw last week, and that show, is that what you're going to be touring stateside, or are you working on new material? How different is it going to be from what we had?
A bit. It depends. I think
it all depends. Yeah.
I think in New York it's going to have to be a lot different because
we've done the same show in New York twice this year already, or virtually the same show.
Honestly, I'd say I'd say, and a pretty similar show also in January. So we've basically done that show 4 times.
Yeah, twice this year. Yeah.
Or no, because we did
Well, okay, sure, 3 times. Two trips to New York. We did the same.
So Brooklyn's going to be a little bit different. Although I expect perhaps it's going to be quite different. But places where we've never been,
it'll be less of an issue. But
it'll be more of a it depends all about what we get sick of, or you know what I mean, because for instance I don't get excited to perform anymore because I'm so sick of the material.
Right. Yeah, and we were talking about this, New Michael and I, actually last night, that we're trying to work towards getting a new show.
Yeah, good. But I'm a bit like John Cleese says in his books and interviews about how he doesn't really get excited to be an actor or performer. It's more the writing that excites him, and just going on stage and saying a line and getting a reaction. It doesn't feel quite as satisfying as as writing it. Although it's quite satisfying writing it, then getting the reaction. But once you get the reaction a couple times, it doesn't feel. There's not much excitement there. For me, anyway.
So the actual creative process is what inspires you the most, rather than necessarily the performance side.
Well,
do you feel that you end up going into autopilot?
I do. And I like to perform it like once or twice, or even a handful of times perfectly to a great response. But then once I've gotten the response, and I've of course done the creative process, and I've felt satisfied, and my sense of self-worth has spiked because I wrote something good and people like it, and then after that I don't. My sense of self-worth comes from being able to write material, not from being able to perform it, I think. So I don't. But I do like the bits of the show then that are improv. For that reason, because then it's a little bit more exciting, and there's more of a thrill if you do something that's improv and then there's an instant reaction.
And you get to do that in the Q&A portion
in the Q&A and a couple parts during the sketches as well.
In terms of the Q&As, is there one question that you always get asked that you just wish no more? Presumably you must be tired of being asked why you're called New Michael. Have you had enough of that?
Well, no, because that's something I know I'm just going to get asked always.
Right.
I kind of... here's a little secret, but just between me, you, and your listeners, because, after all, it's not a huge podcast, I assume.
10,000 downloads, I'll have you know.
A week or total of the history of the...
No, for each episode.
Each
10,000 subscribers.
Hey.
Yeah, I think you guys have belittled all of this.
Well, anyway...
How dare you?
Well, anyway...
I didn't.
Yeah,
anyway...
It's probably a little, it's little Dukey with his podcast. Anyway,
Dukey with his podcast,
yeah. So anyway...
maybe I won't tell you the goddamn secret then.
Don't be a cunt.
Yeah, come on, man.
Here's the secret. Come on.
Let's see. Secret. It's not really a secret, but is that calling myself New Michael's performance art, right? It's for me. It's just funny calling myself New Michael, and that's back to the movie. One of the things that pisses me off about the movie is
where does New Michael come from?
It makes it seem like New Mike. I made myself New Michael to honor my dad or something, and fits into his narrative.
That was my impression.
Right. It's annoying that it's edited that way. It is one of the things that annoys me the most about the movie, honestly. But New Michael is performance art, so therefore I expect people to ask me about New Michael, and I expect to say whatever canned responses I kind of have over the year,
And
one that I don't, if it's okay if I just, one that, doesn't annoy me maybe, but I've kind of heard it a million times, like, oh, where'd y'all meet? Which is a reasonable enough question, but
you just get sick of it.
Answered it to death in a million different formats.
Yeah, and you would think that particularly
And in
North
case
America,
you were wondering, we met because Noah was our parole officer.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. And you all they're all sex crimes as well, which is interesting.
Right, but in the United States, see, sex crime is different. You have to be registered as a sex offender if you get caught, for instance, peeing in public. Because after all, you've got your Todger out, so you're considered on the same category as a rapist under the law.
It's all a little bit extreme, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway,
it's messed up.
Anyway, me and Jack were having a Todger party, and we got caught, and Noah was the parole officer. So,
yeah, you must get in that situation whereby you deliberately come up with different answers just because the stock one is just so played, even if it's the truth. But but he seems a nice enough chap as a parole officer.
Yeah, we could have done worse.
Do you ever think you'll do a show that you tour where the name of the show is in big print, and it just so happens that in small print it's done by a group called Asperger?
I would like that. I've thought about that's the way we could do things someday, but
I mean, you're riding the wave, and what you're doing makes perfect sense.
Right.
But would that be a goal, possibly?
Right, perhaps, because if we have enough Facebook followers, right, we could still promote it to them, and then in the marketing that just brings anyone in, just the regular Joe, or the people who aren't already our fans, right? Stuff that the venue might do to promote it, could use that material instead. I'd like that. Because what I always hate it when venues will share the trailer to the documentary about us when they promote the show.
That is quite. I mean, it's if they mention. I mean, because on the one hand, when we reach out to venues, we'll mention the documentary.
Of course.
But so we know that we don't mind if they mention it. But using the trailer, because the trailer is just, and we won't rehash our issues with the movie, I promise, but the trailer is for a movie about comedians. It's not.
Well,
it's not. It doesn't show our work, and we have clips of our work online.
It'd be better to use stuff from your YouTube channel.
Yeah, because we're not absolutely the documentary, right? So to me, it's so absurd that they'd share the documentary, the trailer to it, because it's
like showing before a concert and showing some interview with the performer.
It'd be showing, no, not even. It'd be like showing, because that would be fine. But it would be like showing
one that wasn't about music at all. But
right.
I see your point.
Yes, what I mean, it would be like showing the promoting Elton John concert by showing the trailer to Tantrums and Tiaras.
Right.
But
yeah, absolutely.
But and assuming that, and just imagine that trailer. I don't never seen the trailer for that, but just imagine there's no music or talk of music in it, and there's just the bits about.
It's just Elton John selling reverse mortgages.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do remember the trailer that was shown on television for that, and it was largely the tantrums with tiny little clips of him performing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was about when it was being advertised, I knew what I was, going to be experiencing. To a certain extent, I was waiting for those tantrums. And the tiaras as well, to be fair. They're both excellent. It's wonderful.
I don't fucking make film. I hate fucking videos. There are fucking loads of them. And I tell you this, I am not doing this video.
And now for something completely different.
I adore Kate Bush. I'm a huge fan. She's not big in the United States at all, but she's really big here. So I'm glad to be here. In the country of Kate Bush.
Certainly.
And the Sheila I met last night was a Kate Bush fan, so that was nice.
Right. Oh yeah,
good.
she was.
Yeah.
Is she also from Pinner, or
no? She was from Portsmouth.
Right. Okay.
Which we were at.
We took the ferry to Portsmouth.
We took the ferry from.
When you went to Isle of Wight, of course. Yeah, you would have gone through Portsmouth.
Yeah, because we went out of
Southampton,
and back into Portsmouth. So. But yeah, Kate Bush, big influence.
Really.
Okay. So here's something interesting. So yesterday I didn't realize this, but yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of when I reenacted Kate Bush's I took part in the most Wuthering Heights Day ever, which is a flash mob worldwide of a phenomenon of people dressing up in the red dress and reenacting the Wuthering Heights dance.
Yeah,
and
we were on tour last summer in the States, and he went to Atlanta
and did that right in Atlanta, and I had the dress. I was in full drag. And had a lot of fun dancing to Wuthering Heights. My dancing was horrendous, of course, but it was a lot of fun.
Did you duplicate her moves from the video?
That's what everybody does.
All in sync.
A flash mob in sync, yeah.
Oh, that is fantastic.
He means he imitated Miley Cyrus in the Wrecking Ball video whilst singing Kate Bush, so...
That's a combination. That's a combination.
That's just what Ethan fantasizes about.
I mean...
Don't project Jack's bizarre stuff onto me, okay?
Has Jack actually seen that video, the Miley Cyrus one?
I have no idea.
Even for a brief split second, and then, averted his gaze.
No, but in part, interestingly...
He references it.
In part, because that joke came into my head, in part... because the other day in Cambridge, he was listening to a version of that, a half cover, half parody of that song, very loudly. This is the most Jack thing ever. Very loudly whilst doing his morning routine. The interesting thing about this cover is it's this fella who does songs in the voice of Gollum from Lord of the Rings. So at like 9 in the morning...
That is a combination.
Yep.
Yeah, Jack likes a lot of really whimsical stuff.
You really are a fab bunch.
Jack's my favorite member of Asperger's by far. He's the cute one, definitely.
So is he the George Harrison of the group then?
Absolutely. I've been calling Jack the George of the troupe for years, and it's been a self-fulfilling prophecy because he wasn't the George 5 years ago, but I had a feeling he'd become it, and I think he has.
Nice one. And obviously Noah is John.
Noah is John. Yeah.
You are Paul.
I guess I'm Ringo by default.
Or is he Peter Best?
Well, maybe.
Well,
Billy Preston. He's the Billy Preston of the band.
Billy Preston did occur to me.
Ethan's Billy Preston would be lower than Ringo. Ethan, you sell yourself short, Ethan. You're definitely at least Ringo.
Cool.
Billy Starr, Ringo Preston.
I don't know. Maybe we've yet to find our Billy Preston, somebody who's come in late in the game. So who can it be?
Well, listen, it's early days. It's early days for you.
They are, yeah.
Early days.
Although we are 7 years in, so.
But just imagine it starting like when the Quarrymen started, right? When they were like 15 or something. So like this is like when they were all 22, just before.
Right, yeah.
Right. So you
we did know a guy once who was really, really into the Quarrymen.
Well,
specifically the Quarrymen.
Yeah, he wasn't really into them so much as to sound cool. He said, the Quarrymen, they were good. After that they sold out.
Yeah, he was being a little edgy.
They went downhill as soon as they
edgy
became
in the
Beatles.
most esoteric way.
Right.
New Michael, Ethan. Thank you
Todgers
so much.
Bendham.
Yes, thank you so much for gracing the Dukey
this
Radio
was a
Show
lot
with
of
your
fun.
presence. Well, that is indeed your lot. Ethan and New Michael are a good laugh and were fab guests, not only on the Dukey Radio Show, but at my home as well. It's so great to see their comedy getting the recognition it deserves on both sides of the pond. Together with Noah and Jack, this quartet are destined for great things and are carrying on a comedy tradition that the likes of Peter Cook and Harry Seacombe would be most proud of. Having seen the show twice while they were in country, I was able to witness firsthand how this troupe evokes the sensibility and spirit that I've only seen in footage of Beyond the Fringe or in the recordings of The Goon Show. You've been listening to an interview with Asperger's Are Us. My name is Dukey and I've been your host. Until next time, may the worst of tomorrow be the best of yesterday. Now it's time for me to go and pop my weasel. Cheers, mate, for listening.
Half a pound of tuppenny rice, half a pound of treacle. That's the way the money goes. Pop goes the weasel.
our Facebook page. Facebook. It's easy to find, it will not take an age. Facebook. www.facebook.com/. The Dukey Radio Show, the Dukey Radio Show. The thin white Dukey is right. Click your way to the Dukey Radio Show Facebook page, www.facebook.com/The Dukey Radio Show. The Dukey Radio Show, the Dukey Radio Show. You're still here. You're still listening to this. The outro music has come and gone. Surely that must have given you a little bit of a hint that things are done, dusted. Time to go to sleep. Time to, I don't know, read a book, jump into the river naked, that kind of thing. Leave. Verlassen. Go.